Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today we've learned some exciting new details about the upcoming Blood Orchid DLC for Rainbow Six Siege, and admittedly also some disappointing news as well. To start off with the bad, it looks like the DLC is going to be delayed by a week and come out on September 5th. Everyone's going to have access to the new map. If you own the Season Pass, of course, you're going to be able to play with the 3 brand new operators, and of course, I'm sure they're going to add in a lot of cosmetic items as well. So that's going to be the September 5th release dates. Apparently, the August 29th release date is for the PC technical tests version. Now, for me personally, this kind of rubs me the wrong way, because while I fully understand where they're coming from, apparently this is going to be one of the biggest patches that they've ever done for this game. It's got over 1,000 bug fixes. They're going in and reworking a bunch of the maps. They're fixing the lighting. They're going through and optimizing all of the operators. Like, this is going to be an extensive patch, and they want to get as many eyeballs as they can on this content. Now, the reason why this rubs me the wrong way is that while I do play on PC, I'm going to be able to play on the technical test server. You'd think, why am I complaining? I get this content early. I just don't like staggered content. Like, if it's a patch where they're fixing a couple of things and they want to test it out, absolutely. But if it's brand new operators and a brand new map, I would much rather that release for everyone at the same time. I don't appreciate or enjoy it when consoles get something a week or a couple of months before PC, and so it'd be a bit hypocritical of me to be like, yeah, this is totally cool. And so while once again, I do know why they're doing this. A couple of the operators that came in the past released with some really large glaring bugs. If you guys remember, there was a glitch where you could actually melee Mira's window from the other side, and you could open up the canister. It was completely game breaking. And so I'm assuming that the reason why they're doing this is that they want to test out this patch to the fullest, get as many eyeballs on it as they possibly can. And so even though they probably tested these operators into the ground, there's only so much they can do with their QA testers. If they get thousands upon thousands of people testing out the operators, hopefully in that week they can solve any large glaring issues, and then when it goes out to all platforms, we'll be good to go. But it also does leave a sour taste in my mouth. With that out of the way, though, we have the good news, and that is we now know exactly what all 3 of these new operators are going to be bringing to the table. And so to start things off, let's take a look at Lesion. So he will have access to cloaked traps, which we already knew about. He's going to have some sort of stealth or cloak technology similar to Echo, so you really need to slow down while pushing the objective to watch out that you don't step on them. But if you do, it's going to cause a damage over time effect. You can either just accept that you're going to take some damage, brute force through it, head towards the objective like you normally would, or you can go through a short animation, which does leave you vulnerable. You lower your gun, so if anyone rounds the corner while you're doing that, you're very exposed, but you take out those darts so that you no longer have that damage over time. Another really interesting detail about Lesion is that he could potentially have 7 of these things scattered around the map. Now, you don't start off with 7 at the beginning of the round. You maybe have like 3 or 4, but as the match progresses and you don't die at the beginning, they will slowly recharge. So if you notice that the enemy is coming from one direction, you want to stop that progress a bit, you want them to watch out for your mines, then you can place these down midway through. At the end of the round, if no one's activated them, you can have 7 of them around the objective. It's pretty incredible. If all of that wasn't enough though, and a bit of a cherry on top, as Lesion, you know exactly where your traps are located. They have an icon above them, and so if you notice that on the left-hand side of the map, let's say you placed it in the garage, either it activated or someone shot it out, you're gonna know that they got shot out because your trap is no longer got that icon there. And so it also acts as kind of a proximity alarm. And so even though the enemy shot it out, maybe an IQ took it down or something along those lines, you can still gather information that way and know the enemy is at least in that vicinity. Now, what we yet don't know is how much damage his traps are going to do. If they're substantial, this is going to be a nightmare, but if it's only a little bit of damage and it's just a nuisance, it may not be as bad. Regardless though, if he's able to whittle down basically everyone on offense because of this trap, everyone's stepping on them and getting damaged because of it, when they finally do get to the objective, yeah, it may not have taken them down outright, it wasn't the sole thing that dropped them, but if everyone's at 50% by the time they actually reach that objective, that is going to be a huge advantage for the defensive team. The next operator that we're going to be taking a look at is Ying. Now, we already knew that she had access to some sort of flash cluster charge, but now we know exactly how she works, and also her goggles which is going to be a bit of a game changer and honestly make her a really fun attacking operator. So the way that her gadget works is that you can either roll this under a doorway, and then when it goes off, it will fling a bunch of flashbangs into the air, hopefully flashing the enemy, or if that doesn't tickle your fancy, you can just use it like a fuse charge. The twist on it though is that you have a bit of control on when you want this thing to detonate. The longer you hold down the button, the longer it's going to take before it goes off. And so either you can have a short fuse on it where you just roll it underneath and then everything starts to pop off, or if you know the enemy is on the back side of the room or really down a long hallway, you can really hold it down, then throw it on in, and you're going to have that control. The thing that's going to make her amazing though, and probably a bit of a game changer, is that she is not affected by her gadget whatsoever. And so in theory, the way you want it to work is you have these things going off, the enemy is disoriented, and then you just waltz on in while all of this is happening. The enemy is stunned, they can't see you, you can see them, you take them down no problem. Imagine Ying on the outside of a building. She places her cluster charge on the window just like Fuse would, and then on the adjacent window, she hot breaches in while those things are going off. If you're in that room, you don't have a lot of options. You can either just hope and run away, just try to get away just like Fuse charge. You can stare at the wall hoping that you don't get disoriented, or if you do try to retaliate, well, you're gonna get flashed and then she's gonna be able to take you down regardless. It's going to be difficult to deal with her in some situations. And so I'm really curious to see how all of this is going to play out. We don't know how potent her flashbang effect is. I'm assuming it's going to be better than a normal flashbang, because why would you want to use her than a normal operator who has access to that gadget? I'm guessing it is going to be better at just clearing rooms, but of course only time will tell, but she does sound like a lot of fun. Now, the final operator that we're going to be able to use in this upcoming DLC is a defender named Ella. Her special gadget is called the Grismont Mines. Now, the way that they work is that you can toss these anywhere. You can place them on the ceiling, on a wall, on the floor, wherever you want, and then if an enemy attacker walks on by, they get in proximity, they're gonna go off and cause a concussive effect. Your screen is gonna shake, it's gonna be hard to hear what's going on around you, and it sounds very eerily similar to the way that Echo's drone works. So if you place this in a doorway, enemy walks on through, they're gonna go off, make a very loud sound, I'm assuming, and leave the enemy vulnerable. Now, one thing I'm really interested to learn about though with this gadget is, will there be any indication that a Grismont mine is in the other room? Is it gonna make a noise? Will there be a beeping sound? Is there gonna be bright flashing lights? Because if there isn't anything, that could get frustrating. One thing I've always liked about Rainbow Six Siege is that as long as you're observant, as long as you know what's going on around you, you can watch out for traps. You can see the Mira in front of you. Oh, hey, Mira's got a big advantage against me. Maybe I want to approach it from a different angle or use a gadget to stop that. If I see a Capcan trap or a Frost trap, I can take them down as long as I take it slow and I'm watching my step. And so if there's no indication that there's a Grismont mine in that room, there's no interaction between offense and defense. You could play it perfectly, you're watching your step, you're watching all of your angles, but if Ella put it above the door frame, you can't see it, there's no sound, there's no light, nothing. You waltz on in, you get disoriented, and then she swoops on in and takes you down. That could get annoying. And so I'm crossing my fingers that there is going to be some interaction there. Regardless though, she does sound like a lot of fun. She's going to be another operator just like Lesion, who's going to slow down the progress of the offensive team, and this basically just solidifies in my mind that Ubisoft is doing whatever they can with this next update to slow down the gameplay. You will still be able to rush in with Ash or those 3-speed operators, but you also might be in for a rude awakening. You'll take continuous damage because of Lesion since you're not watching your step, and then if you walk through the wrong doorway and there's a Grismont mine there, you might get slapped in the face by Ella. One change I was not expecting whatsoever though with this update is that offense is getting a bit of an upgrade where you can now have 2 active drones at once. As we all know, right now, if you have a drone on the map and then you throw out another, that first one gets destroyed. That's no longer going to be the case. I can't tell you how many times I've had a drone right next to me. I don't pick it up because it's right next to me. I want to drone into the room and then I accidentally fat finger the other one and I throw it on out. That first one gets destroyed and I essentially just ruined a very valuable resource. That is no longer going to be a problem. And so now this is just going to give players more options. You can have one drone scouting the outside. You can have it in maybe inside of the building. You can keep it there the entire time. You got it in that really sneaky spot. And then you can use your other drone to scout towards the objective. That is not something that you can do right now. I have a suspicion that this is going to be a pretty big deal. As long as you know how to use your drones, this is going to be a fairly big upgrade and give you a lot more intelligence when you are on offense. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Give me your thoughts on these 3 brand new operators now that we finally officially know exactly what they're gonna do. Are you liking the direction of their gadget? Who is your favorites? Do you think some of them are gonna be a bit annoying? Let me know down below in the comments. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.